Hey guys, welcome. Let me know if you can hear me because I need your input on if you can hear me or not. As I always turn the camera around, I'm looking in it like this with my face so serious, but welcome. Welcome. It's the 3rd of July and I hope everyone's going to be safe. It's a generic thing to say, but it's true. I really do hope people are going to be safe. So glad it sounds good. That's important because I got lots of stuff to go over tonight and it's good stuff, interesting stuff. It's important stuff. So hopefully we'll be raffling some point for one of these big spots. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. If you don't know, I have a raffle going for gold. This is a 1/2 ounce of gold. This is a really good deal to win. So if you want, there are only 2 spots left in this satellite. Hey guys, happy 4th of July. So the satellite, what a satellite is it's a cheaper and it's a less expensive spot, $10 a spot, and there's 10 of those. And when I raffle and when I get 2 more people that want to do this with my PayPal, that you can see up here, PayPal and the Cash App, either way, if I get that filled before we finish up here, I will draw on my random.org, and that person that wins this will have a spot on the main drawing, which will be $100 spots to win a 1/2 ounce gold coin, silver or gold eagle. I want to say silver eagle because I say silver eagle all the time. A gold eagle. Now, if somebody wants, hi guys. If somebody wants a $100 spot, you're certainly welcome to buy 1 or 2 or 3, because even if you bought 7, you'd still be paying less than what you'd have to pay to get this. So at that point, not much less, but you'd be paying less. So $10 spot, if you win, you get a spot in here. So heck, it's worth doing at least 9 times, because then you didn't pay the full 100. And I'm sure at least one of those times you'd get a spot. So that's that. I wanted to remind everybody of that. I've got 2 spots left for $10 a spot. So I want to say thank you to all my patrons, because I've got a few more. God bless them. I need to send them out some silver because I said I would, and I will do that. Welcome, Delaware is so far away from me. I'm in Montana, but maybe, I love Montana. I don't know that I ever want to live on a coast. But my patrons, I've had a few more come on. I'm going to send them silver, but God bless them. They're helping me get new equipment one of these days, so I don't have one of these computers with that ridiculous fan. Nick, I'm usually on Wednesdays and Thursdays, but I go on Tuesdays sometimes, and I always go live when it's time to draw a raffle. And I don't usually, with those raffles, have a lot of articles that I do, but on these ones that I go on Wednesday, on the evenings at 7, I have a lot of stuff I go over. So like tonight, we're going to talk about witchcraft. Got lots of witchcraft stuff for you guys. Some aliens breeding with humans. So NEPHILIM news. We've got NEPHILIM news on tonight. I keep wanting to have more NEPHILIM news, and I don't know that I'm really working hard enough to find it, so it could be me. We'll talk about some, extraterrestrial toxic gas and more alien stuff, and some DNA stuff, some HIV stuff, and of course I'm going to bring up Libra again, and, we'll finish it off with some robot news. And yay, Patricia has won quite a bit of silver, and unfortunately she's going out of town the day that her 6 ounces is expected to arrive. Wowza, that was a heavy package, but it was enjoyable to deliver it. I wonder when the guys at the post office are going to ask me what I'm delivering all the time. It just goes to show there's a couple people in the audience that can tell you, yes, they do get their silver from me when they win, and or gold. I have had 3 gold raffles. Always successful, always fun. All right, so let's, without further ado, 2 spots left, by the way. Despite church's yoga phobia, was the late Pope Paul VI a secret practitioner of yoga? Well, it turns out he was. As this article goes on to say, what yoga is, in case you didn't know, according to this article, and that the churches are not against yoga per se, but the occult content of it, especially hatha and tantric yoga.
No, we're going to be at the park.
Okay. Can't you learn to whisper? Tantric yoga, as those are against the fundamental tenets of Christianity, and therefore efforts are on to Christianize yoga. I say just forget yoga. Just do some awesome stretches, and you don't have to namaste anybody. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about yoga? Do you think it's a anti-Christian move, or do you think it's cool that the Pope was doing it? I want you guys to like say something to me. Talk to me. Write something in that chat box. Let me know what you think of yoga. Anyway, of course, Pope Francis disapproved of yoga, which is odd. Oh, I don't know why I said of course. I was thinking of a different pope there for a second because I got off my thinking train. But that's kind of interesting that he would say that. I'm sure but he likes Muslims. I mean, go figure. Who knows what he's thinking? I agree with this top exorcist, Father Cesar Trucchi, whatever. Yoga's not fine in my opinion, but we can't all agree, right? But anyway, he branded yoga and fantasy novels like Harry Potter as satanic acts. Now here's the thing is, this is how they implement small satanic rituals into your life if you're not careful, right? So if you want to, if you want to do yoga, I mean, I'm not saying you're not going to become a satanic, demonic, possessed person. That's not how I feel about any of these things. I feel that God is really bigger than all that. But I would say if you don't know what you're doing and you do it without prayerful consideration, then maybe that's when you're open to these things, because it's not a Christian act, right? So just put the armor on, ask God for the truth, because that's what you need to do, right, to get the truth. And if you decide that God has said it's okay and it's safe for you, I'm not going to argue with you on that, ever. I would never do that. So there you go on that one. And there you have it. I'm trying to sound like, what's his name? That I can't think of his name now. I'm sure James will remember who I'm talking about. All right, so if you guys are sitting back on a Sunday night or whatever night, a Monday night, a Tuesday night, and you're like, wow, I just really want to start a cult, never fear, the Cultist Simulator is here. It is a beginner's guide to the occult, and now you can learn how to start your own cult. And apparently it was a little bit harder with their original simulator, so they've added this beginner's guide, and if you go down here, it starts you out with how to set up a cult. It's a simulator, how to set up your own cult, guys. And obviously this can't be bad for you, right? There's nothing, if yoga is not introducing anything negative, of course this is not, right? So you get 9, now check this out, 9 cults to choose from. Of course they chose 9. And these are your choices. I didn't want to read a lot about it because I start to get bad feelings about some of these things. But they're literally putting these things out to teach you how to start your own cult if you want to start one. Oh, hold on, I got to do a buckle here. Oh boy, got it. All right, so, and what I think is kind of a leading into the next article about the cult simulator is, if you're feeling new agey, oh, not this one. Hold on. Did I miss this somehow? Oh, I did. I went backwards. I'm going to go backwards though, because if you're feeling new agey and you're a millennial, why don't you go ahead and just join a cult? And I don't know that this article is pushing it, but they're trying to say that millennials are more apt to join cults. What I don't agree with on this article, as it talks about a lot of the left of flirting with it and how there's been actual witchcraft. I think this one mentions it. Oh, this one's talking about the astrology. But what I don't agree with is it's saying it's a rebellion, and I say no. It's been a subversion that's been planned forever, forever and ever since before the garden probably. So the progressives, that are doing some of this stuff are actually probably doing just a little bit here and there. And they're even saying that millennials aren't necessarily, casting spells. But that's what they're doing, is they're inviting occultish-like things into everyday life and acting like it's normal. And it could be as simple as starting with yoga, which might be the gateway drug. I don't know. Maybe it isn't, right? So back to the one I was going to talk about before this, though, is the London conference that focuses on magical women. And I want you to note that it says magical with the CK. And if you're not familiar with the reason for the CK in magical, I will tell you that Aleister Crowley spelled magic this way. And he wanted to use this spelling to differentiate the occult from performance magic. quote, the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will, including both the mundane act of will as well as ritual magic. That is what he was. And if you know me, I talk about transmutation, and that is certainly causing a change with alchemy. And we know that Crowley was certainly into alchemy, certainly satanic and ritual magic. So this is the first annual London Magical with a CK Women's Conference. And it's talking about, the PhDs. Obviously, her research is witchcraft, because why not get a PhD in that sort of thing? It's got to be totally good for the heart and soul and not turn you into a ghoul at all. I didn't read the whole article because it just kind of gets to a point where I don't care about these people. I find it more interesting what they're doing. Oh, the Fellowship of Isis. I mean, why not? Because Isis. I'll get into a little bit of Saturn later. That'll be fun. So Crowley was totally creepy. I've seen some of their ritual stuff, and none of this is good. This isn't like, yay, I want to have a good relationship with people, and I want to have peace in my heart, and I want to, just love God and bring love and light into the world. No, they want to bring Satan into the world. So I don't know about stage magic or performance magic, but if you, I know, Joe, I've thought about you a little bit on that. I don't know, Joe, because I have not researched it. I really don't have an opinion on it. I know that I think if you're just doing kind of parlor trick magic at home and it's fun and you're doing sleight of hand, there is such thing as sleight of hand and illusion, right? You can cause illusory effects, and it is a different spelling because he did want to create a difference. But I know that LT did a Serial Brain video on this particular thing, but I think we're talking some pretty serious magicians at that point, and in that I do believe. So I've watched some videos where I've seen a kid that he's squeezing an orange and the orange juice is appearing in the glass, but he's actually not squeezing the orange. He's pretending to squeeze the orange, and the orange is being squeezed in a bowl, and the glass is filling up with the orange juice. And in that case, I think they are summoning some otherworldly help, and whether they know it or not, it's probably demonic. I don't think an angel would do that because this corresponds with a lot of the stuff you see with the fallen angels and the things that they would the things that they would teach, with the alchemy and the metals and the abortions and the makeup and all that stuff. So I don't think God is over everything again, right? And if you're just doing some of this stuff at home and you're not trying to summon any kind of anything to do something for you, you're probably good to go, right? Just don't say namaste. Okay. All right. So in a world of witches, can witches and consumer culture coexist? And of course, coexist in the stupid rainbow colors. And, get your starter witch kit. If you guys want to be a witch and you don't know how to start, just buy the kit. You got your tarot cards. You got some horns. You got your moon sign, which you can see that supposed Christian artist wearing all the time, Lauren Daigle. Yeah, she's not a witch at all. And then you get your stone, probably a sorcerer's stone. And then you've got your smudging, maybe. Does this come with the NEPHILIM cologne? Because I don't want this unless it's got NEPHILIM cologne. I guess that's for the men's version. The men's warlock kit will have NEPHILIM cologne for only $32. A demure spray bottle, bundles of sticks whittled from the Palo Santo, a tree associated with the indigenous South American rites, and can still be found for $12 or $16 with the crystal thrown in. Wow, of course, this is like associated with Urban Outfitters and Sephora and all that crap. This is brilliant. Namaste is not talking about God the Father. It's talking about, being God yourself. And we know that's what they're doing with this New Age stuff is how can I become God myself? Just like Mormons. It's all the same thing. Not that millennials are casting spells or hunting down newts for dissection. Is dissecting newts? I'm not sure what that ritual would accomplish, but I'm not a witch, so therefore, Anyway, sage can be burned to cleanse a home of vaguely conceived negative energy, devoid of any specific metaphysical reference. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't think there's anything wrong with burning sage in your home. I don't need it to cleanse my home. I've got Jesus Christ, God and the Holy Spirit, right? And with Jesus, with the blood of Jesus Christ, that he died for us so that we wouldn't have to deal with that kind of sin, even hauntings on our own home, especially in our own body. We don't need sage, but go ahead and burn it if you want to. I don't think you're inviting anything by burning a natural substance in your home. It's the prayers and the weird stuff that goes along with it, right? Like if they send you some spells, I mean, I'd say try not to do that. Yeah, they're trying to fill the God-sized hole, while they're trying to be God, and that's why they need immortality. So, New Age stuff, making a trend. And I did a video where I talked about the New Age stuff. It was the Nipsey Hussle video, guys. And I talked about one of these New Age people and how they go back to being connected to the Operation Paperclip and Nazis and the mind control, like Mengele, and he was probably in China Lake. You know, back when the Operation Paperclip was probably successful, that they got Mengele into China Lake out in California doing MK Ultra, and they were flying in children from everywhere. Anyway, it goes back to that. It was New Age guys that had that connection, and I do the connecting on that video. I can't memorize it all. I mean, I can, but then I start to sound crazy because when I speak out the connections without a script, I start to just sound like I'm blathering. But there's connections to all this New Age stuff and all these groves. They're like not just Bohemian Grove, but this grove, that grove, and like the witches who owned the 6 kids. I say owned because they did own them. The 6 black kids that they drove off of a cliff and killed. I don't think those 2 women were in that van at all. That was also in California, and they would take them to these New Age groves all the time. This has been part of the MK Ultra mind control for as long as we know it, but definitely back to the Nazis. So there's my little spiel on that. Where am I going next? Okay, Teen Vogue. Can't do without, some Celine Dion on your Teen Vogue. And I don't know who Darby Milbrath is. Not this person, apparently. This is just a moley model. Mole. So, my own worst enemy, I made a note on that because I thought that was funny that, it speaks to the black and the white, the yin and the yang, the good and the evil. And that's why you see the checkerboard floor. That's why they wear black and white all the time. Because they're fighting with they're not fighting. I think if they've accepted the devil, then they're fighting with the good side. They're fighting with God's side, and they've accepted the flesh. Anyway, this is just, put your kids in some Celine, not just your babies and your young kids, put your teenagers in there too. Because I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this. She's just a total ghoul. Talk about the queen ghoul. She's the queen of all ghouls that's living, if you ask me. I don't know if she's living or not, though. She looks kind of like a cadaver. But she's creepy, and she's got something to do with this. And I was trying to look at the image, some kind of painting from this Darby person. And not really sure why Celine Dion even has her hands in all this stuff, but I don't know. Who cares? Really, she's so goofy. She's wearing these pants today that are like, there's a close-up. She's wearing these pants that are like tight down, like tight, like you roll them up tight on one leg, and then on the other one they're, what do you call it, from the 70s or whatever, the bell bottom. I mean, it's got to have some reason I don't get, right? Who gets it? Not me. All right. Next. So speaking of demonic activity, of course, we've got news about, don't forget the Eye of Newt. Oh, this is one I really want to talk about. Oh, forgot about this one. Wow, I totally forgot. The Eye of Newt, that's why I guess they would be getting newts. Duh. So this is Teen Vogue also. So since we've got Celine Dion in Teen Vogue, let's add this to Teen Vogue as well. We've got Celine Dion on one page, and we go to the next page, and it's Teen Vogue, guys. Like Teen Vogue. They have informative articles as Karl Marx Dream Guy, everything you wanted to know about anal sex but were too decent to ask, and Kids Aborting Kids, a how-to guide. Holy wow. I did not read this article before. I saw it, but I skipped it somehow, and oh my God, this is sick. Okay. Keeping to the theme of the leftist flirtation with the occult, Teen Vogue posted a guide to sex magic today. Oh, this is freaking brilliant. The teen magazine used the subheading, Make Your Orgasms Literally Magical. The guide cited self-proclaimed witches that offered masturbation techniques such as incorporating lunar vibrations, color magic, and sigil carving. I don't know if I said that right. And the guide is part of Teen Vogue's Practical Magic series, written by imaginatively named astrology expert Lisa Stardust. I thought it was going to be the Rumpel lady. Why doesn't she write something for Teen Vogue? I'm sure she's got something wonderful to say. Stardust exclusively writes on astrology, magic, witches, and whatever pseudo-pagan garbage she makes up on the spot. Teen Vogue publishes a weekly horoscope from Stardust consisting of random advice given to people based on random birthdays. The horoscopes range from advising Geminis to tap into their inner magic to instructing Capricorns to smash the patriarchy. I think magicians are not liars, they're illusionists. Okay. Predictably, the absurdity of Stardust's horoscope extends to her practical magic articles. The first installment in the series is Magic 101, a guide to all things magical. In that article, she blamed society's stigmatization of the occult on xenophobia, religious concern, and of course the patriarchy. And as I already said, I don't believe this is not rebellion. This is people who have, it's been implemented forever. They're doing what they were told to do and what they believe in doing. And of course, you can't do this without talking vampires. The second installment of the series asserted that vampires might be the cause of your workday fatigue. Well, there are people sucking the life out of you all the time. That is vampirism. That's actual literal vampirism. But they're also trying to suck your energy out and have it. And it's what they do when they do murderous rituals. Stardust entitled her latest article, How to Use Sex Magic to Manifest Your Best Self, which is your God self, in a magazine with an underage target audience. In her intro, Stardust claimed that sex magic can be used to shift the universe, shape-shifting, and achieve your wildest dreams, because he's going to give you anything you want. Just ask the devil, he'll give you anything you want. In other words, if you've always wanted to become an astronaut, I don't even know. How is this even real? I don't know how to spell. It's not spelled with a G. It's Gick. As far as Crowley writes it, if you want to change it, whatever. Yeah, they don't want kids to be kids. They're trying to break up the families. Because they can't be kids if they want to have sex with your kids, right? So if you have millennials, speak to those kids. Speak to your millennial. And definitely don't let your teenagers look at Teen Vogue. And definitely know what your teenager's looking at. You got to get on these phones and get a smartphone out of their hands. I'd say flip phone. My kids are going to have flip phones. I've told them that too. They're like, can we get a phone? I'm like, yeah, it'll be a flip phone. And then they're going to ask, why do I get a smartphone? Because I can manage whether I do stupid crap on it or not. They can't. And like I said last night, I had a friend a girl in my mom's Bible study, whose 12-year-old daughter and her two friends had made a profile on a pornographic website, and she didn't want to fix the situation, didn't want to pull them out of school. So this is what they're reading, guys. This is what they're seeing. So I don't think they should grow up to be cowboys either, because I think there's some really bad frequencies going on in the country music. But, that's just another opinion. Could be wrong. Could be right. Let's see, what we're just on there in that. Okay. The witches, more witch stuff. The witches are back. Witchcraft in its modern feminist occult packaging seems to be a misguided response to the profound questions that dog our age. It's the wrong answer to the right question. And in the words of G.K. Chesterton, suppose, my dear Chad, this is obviously from a book, suppose it is we who are the idiots because we are not afraid of devils in the dark. Amen to that, Mr. G.K. Chesterton, who was friends with the guy who wrote the trilogy of The Lord of the Rings, as well as C.S. Lewis. Wait, that was C.S. Lewis. No, that wasn't C.S. Lewis. J.R.R. Tolkien, but they were all three friends. Anyway, in the ever-swirling winds of doctrinal fads over the past century have seen millions worshiping the altars of Marxism, nationalism, theism, atheism, and libertinism. But none of these trends are more improbable than the trek of so many in our modern age from secular materialism to Wicca and witchcraft. So I'm showing you this because it's really, really, really a big deal right now. Really, really, really so much witchcraft going on. Protect your kids and yourself. Armor of God every day, several times a day. Witchcraft, which is the Catechism of the Catholic Church, calls gravely contrary to the virtue of religion, has existed for centuries. This resurgence of interest in the occult and witchcraft should, of course, concern Christians, But this modern trend should also concern secular materialists, as many are reaching out to this neo-paganism in order to fill a deep need, we were just talking about that secular materialism is simply unable to fill. Witchcraft in its modern feminist occult packaging seems to be a misguided answer to very profound questions that dog our age. In short, is the wrong answer to the right questions. So I kind of already went through this. I feel like we said a lot of this stuff, but it's just, again, saying the same thing, that this is a big deal. It's happening everywhere. They're selling the stuff on it. They're talking about it. There's articles in your Teen Vogue, and Netflix has tons and tons and tons of witchcrafty and dark videos on Netflix. Tons and tons and tons of it. I mean, it's just constant, coming out all the time. If you don't follow Paul Romano, he's at Pockets of the Future on YouTube. You might not know, and he's the only reason I know, because it's just the biggest push of all time. So celebrate the summer solstice with a witch's guide to pagan beauty rituals. And if you believe what I believe, that is that these beauty rituals come from demonic forces, specifically the fallen angels. So this is, I don't care if people don't want to hear about it. I mean, I care about people, right? I do care, right? But what I don't care about is if it upsets them, because it should be upsetting. And if they don't want, I have a friend, I upset her a lot when I first started bringing this stuff up, but now I can talk about it, and she's not mad about what the first time I made her mad when I said Tom Hanks was a pedophile, and she thought I was absolutely nuts. She said she was never going to drink that Kool-Aid, right? But now I can talk about these things around her, because I was careful. I had to apologize because I didn't expect to upset her so much, but I care about her, so I apologized. But of course, sex. They want lots of sex, because that is what they're all about in the satanic order, especially anal sex. That's why they're pushing anal sex. There's some kind of demonic ritual in that. The choking, the anal sex, all of that, they're just inviting demons into your life as much as possible, even if it's as simple as certain yoga sayings that they want people to say in yoga. So I'm going to move on to the next thing, which was what I thought I was moving on to a while back, but space aliens breeding with humans. This is my NEPHILIM news of the day. There is a instructor at this university, and scientists are calling him outlandish because he says it's already happening. There's a breeding program that is already creating alien-human hybrids, but somehow it's to survive climate change, which we know they're causing. I'm not sure what I think about that yet on the climate change aspect. And it's okay. Jay Killa's view. Jay Killa can have that view, and we have our view, and sometimes they align and sometimes they don't. As they always aligned, we'd be really boring, right? So let's not be boring. It's awesome. And I welcome that. In fact, I had one person come in and it seemed like it was going to get maybe a little weird, but we disagreed, and it was great. And I said, and I've had somebody else message me in my email, and they said, I have to disagree, aliens are from outer space. And I said, and he made it sound like fact, and I responded with, I said, well, your opinion isn't a fact, and I've done a lot of research of my own, and it is always talking with scripture. And he was very nice, and he said, you're right, I did say it like that. So this is how we can be in here, right? So here we are. Anyway, about the extraterrestrials taking people and abducting them, I did a video on that called Vampires, Werewolves, and Aliens. And I don't really believe they're being abducted into any kind of ship. It's all the same kind of ritual. It's demonic. It's a demonic ritual. It's the same exact ritual that we see them doing and everything else. They're deceptive. Again, there's a deceptive factor that Jay Killer brought up. And they're, they're harmful, they're manipulative, and it's like mind control. So whatever, I would not be surprised for a moment. I do believe that fallen angels, the older, more ancient ones, are very strong enough to come and really have their own body on this earth without the need of a host body. Like, they don't need to possess, or they don't need an AI type unit, like I think what they're making AI for. But they can have a human, and we know that because they've come down and done this before. There's other times as they've come to earth to procreate and created the NEPHILIM. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's happening. I'm not sure how it works, like how and when they decide to do it, if they need to be called upon or what. this guy's saying, what's he saying? He's calling them aliens. He's actually believes that they're aliens. Let's see. Also claims to know what the aliens have in mind. In lectures, he says they're creating alien human. Hold on, just a second. Okay, sorry. Thank you. Fighting. I love it when the kids fight. It's my favorite thing. Anyway, he's saying that they're creating alien human hybrids as a hedge against climate change. To support his unorthodox theory, he notes that for several decades, the number of reported... Is this the same guy that... This isn't the same guy. It is the same guy. This is the same guy I talked about before. Holy cow, I just realized that. It seemed more funny back then. Maybe I was in a funnier mood. But I was laughing because it was Young Hai Chi. Young Hai Chi is the same guy. Okay, well, for those of you who weren't here on that live one, I'll just read it again. To support his unorthodox theory, Chi notes that for several decades, the number of reported alien abductions has risen. He bases a statement on the work of David Jacobs, a retired Temple University historian who has published several books on ufology, which is ufology, and who runs the International Center for Abduction Research. Jacobs has interviewed more than 1,000 people who claim to have been abducted using a hypnotic regression that apparently allows them to recall their unearthly encounters with aliens. Mind you, this too is controversial, and Jacobs himself admits that people should be skeptical of these recollections. I am. I think they're demons. They're not from outer. I don't believe they're interplanetary. She takes the claims at face value and links the growing number of abductees cataloged by Jacobs to the increase in atmospheric greenhouse gases. And I have another article about the gas. Did I miss it too? No, we'll come up on that. So, yeah. Young Hai Chi. Oh, no, Hai Chi. Anyway, okay, so this does actually apply to the next one that I wanted to talk about. It is a little bit different. I didn't read the whole thing. He doesn't imply a cause and effect. The abduction experiment is not responsible for global warming. Rather, it's a reaction to it. The extraterrestrials are producing hybrids that can better withstand the rigors of a toastier planet. By producing a new model of Homo sapiens, this project would eliminate the need for difficult climate accords or elaborate geoengineering projects, because those are just made to kill us off anyways, who you won't need them anymore. That's a good point. It would also help the aliens themselves, who are said to be living among us, by preserving that part of their DNA that's carried by the temperature-tolerant hybrids. Of course, human-alien hybrids, no matter how well adapted to a warmer world, don't address the crux of the climate change problem. Even unimproved humans can handle hotter temperatures. After all, they already live in a plethora of steamy environments, including the Congo, Amazonia, and downtown Tucson. Phoenix. Yeah. Rising sea levels could be dealt with too by building dikes along the seaboards and riding off Miami Beach. Please just take California out completely. But it's the other inhabitants of the planet that are problematic, crops and critters that will either migrate toward the poles or disappear altogether. These, after all, are essential to both our environment and our food supply. Does the Oxford instructor presume that these other earthly residents are also being re-engineered by the aliens? In addition, Chi's argument rests on the fact that two things have simultaneously increased in the past several decades: the number of reported abductions and the concentration of atmospheric carbon dioxide. Of course, many other things have risen during this time too, including the price of bacon and the number of TV channels. It's a big jump from a coincidence in timing to an alien project to produce a climate-resistant species. Eventually, this weird theory will be vindicated or vanquished by observation. Chi says the reason that we don't see the aliens is that they are largely unrecognizable. The first-generation hybrids still have physical features distinct... Okay, yeah. Whatever. Anyway, it's demons. But I don't know. I'm going to pray on them, file this one. Oh, but you still might want to... Oh, my God. Of course, this leads into one of the other ones I'm going to talk about, the 23andMe. I wouldn't bother... You know, it's like, what was that one... What was that show... The X-Files, and they made that movie, and she's like, I'm the savior. She becomes the one who never believed in the crap, becomes the savior because she's got alien DNA. Okay, Scully. All right, what's next? I know I had one that was specific. Okay, this is specific to the gas, right? Extraterrestrials may spout out toxic gas as a sign of life, researchers suggest. So, yes, the reptilians are demons. IMHO. Okay, so this is from Fox News, my friends, because, they're just as trustworthy as none of them. All right, as a search for intelligent extraterrestrial life marches on, researchers have suggested no shortage of possible signs to look for, including carbon monoxide, dust storms, and methane. But new research suggests that it's possible ET isn't producing any of these and is emitting a gas nearly as toxic to humans as carbon monoxide, phosphine. The toxic gas, which is used in the semiconductor industry, is a colorless gas that smells like garlic or fish and could be seen as an interesting biosignature, researchers believe. Oh, Lord. That reminds me of this book I read it was before college about the signature of serial killers. We perform a broad and thorough assessment of phosphine as a biosignature gas in anoxic exoplanet atmospheres. What? We consider not only the spectroscopic potential of phosphine, but also its thermodynamic false positives, biochemical. There's a lot of Greek in here. Although it's poisonous to life on Earth, phosphine is present in the atmosphere, albeit a trace component. Traces. If it's found in outer space, why wouldn't it be found in our atmosphere? Isn't our atmosphere outer space, really? I mean, if there's a firmament, right? Traces of the gas can be found in sewage, marshlands, and the intestinal tracts of fish and human babies. I am really going to file this one. There's something to that. Something. I'm thinking vaccines, maybe, are the reason? Okay. According to the CDC, the gas can be absorbed into the body by inhalation, and direct contact with phosphine liquid may cause frostbite. I'm thinking Terminator, right? Mercury? I don't know. It's in the vaccines. In human babies and fish. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right. It's possible that exoplanets could produce phosphine if they do not contain oxygen. Phosphine by itself is not toxic, but the combination with oxygen is. Okay. Anyway, if phosphine is indeed a byproduct of extraterrestrials, it could be one reason why humanity has had trouble finding any traces of life so far. Earlier this month, a comprehensive study that spanned more than 3 years found no evidence of extraterrestrial life among more than 1,300 stars in close proximity to Earth. I'm a hollow earther with quite a bit of lean towards the firmament. I don't know if that makes the Earth flat or not. Not sure. I don't know how it explains the sun being down in one place and up in another, but I believe in hollow Earth. I'm definitely leaning towards the firmament. I don't know that means I have to believe that the Earth is flat. Could be. I'm not saying it's not. I don't have a strong opinion right now because I kind of... It matters and it doesn't. There's some things I think matter a little bit more. I was going to go over this survey. I think they're asking this survey for a reason. This is really all I want to say about it. I think that the survey is just about testing our reactions to truth and lies and just collecting data. I really just think it's collecting data. Just a data collector. I wouldn't take the survey. I say stay away from surveys. We know that they're not really telling truth in the surveys. And so I'm not going to answer them. And I know everybody says, well, I didn't get a survey. I don't care. If I get one, I'm not going to even do it. But I hate it. It reminds me of grade school anyway, when you pass notes. So NASA's got a big job ahead. This is where I was going to bring up Saturn. That NASA is headed to Titan. And how ironic that it's a moon of Saturn. And Saturn is, of course, the occult's. Saturn is hugely involved in the occult. And if you don't know, you can look it up. But, I mean, the tent of Moloch and all this stuff. I'm not going to talk about Saturn a whole bunch, but, look at Osiris and Isis and Horus, the Egyptian god of the dead, the sun god, and all their connection to Saturn and Moloch and Baal, and it's all occult stuff. So I guess if NASA's going to Saturn, a moon, why not one of Saturn? Which they're not freaking going to Saturn. They're not going to there. That's not where they're going. They're just completely, again, they're magicians. It's deception. Just kidding, Joe, if you're still out there. Sort of. Not really. Kind of kidding. But just deception. And so speaking of 23andMe, you guys, DNA testing firms are lobbying to limit your right to your own genetic privacy. I would say, do not comply. Do not do home testing. They actually say the less fun side of DNA testing industry is the brave new world of genetic privacy. Brave new world. It's 23andMe, of course, is involved in this. Ancestry, from like Ancestry.com and the company Helix. And they're saying that they plan to work on the honor system. And they actually say in this, I got to find it, much like Facebook and Google. Okay. So they were saying that they would need to keep privacy just like Facebook and Google do. Here it is. In other words, no provisions that place more stringent rules on DNA testing companies. Harold told me he wants to make sure there are no carve-outs in the federal privacy law for genetic information. Yeah, Airbnb and it rhymes. Airbnb and 23andMe. In other words, no provisions that place more stringent rules on DNA testing companies and say, Facebook or Google, right? Because we can trust them. Same rules as them. And as this article ends, it says, DNA testing firms say that you have nothing to worry about. They take people's privacy really seriously. You know who else says that? Facebook. And you trust them, right? Yeah. Okay. So, just don't comply, guys. Don't do the DNA testing. If you've already done it, then just pray for protection over that and what we're supposed to do next, because it's done. I can't change it. You've already done it. So this could be great news. Researchers say they're closer to finding a cure for HIV after using CRISPR technology to eliminate disease in live mice for the first time. And if you're going to tell me they already have a cure for HIV and cancer, I agree with you. But not everybody has that. And so there's still good people working on finding a cure because they don't have access to the cure. And they might not even believe there is one. And so glory to God that these people are still doing this, that they're not just sitting there throwing up their hands and going, well, there's already a cure and we just don't get to have it, so let's not work on one. Anyway, in this, the researchers said they're one step closer to eliminating the virus using a combination of CRISPR gene editing technology and a therapeutic treatment called laser art. Scientists at Temple University and the University of Nebraska Medical Center say they have erased HIV DNA from the genomes of animals in what they call an unprecedented study that was published Tuesday in the Journal of Nature Communications. Huge, guys. This is really big stuff. About 1.1 million people in the U.S. live with HIV, a virus that attacks the body's immune system and makes a person more susceptible to falling ill. If HIV is not treated, it ultimately will turn into AIDS, which is the last stage, and the virus badly damages the immune system down to zero. People with AIDS on average live about 3 years after their diagnosis. The virus is currently treated with antiretroviral therapy, or ART, which suppresses it from replicating and prevents many patients in the U.S. from developing AIDS. ART does not rid the body of HIV, though, and if a patient stops treatment, the virus will continue on its path of replication. But now researchers say they are able to destroy the virus in humanized mice. I don't know what that means. Which were injected, it just goes on to say what that means. Which were injected with human bone marrow to imitate the human immune system. The study authors used 2 different tools to combat the virus: CRISPR technology and laser art. CRISPR-Cas9 is a gene editing tool that has been boasted as breakthrough technology that can help researchers treat or potentially cure genetic diseases. It gives scientists the ability to change an organism's DNA so they can add, remove, or change certain genetic material. Laser art is a super form of art that keeps replication of the virus at low levels for longer time periods. And the antiretroviral drug is then stored in nanocrystals, which slowly release the drug where the virus is located. This is good. This is good news. I mean, we do still have people working on this, you guys. There's still people working on stuff, and this could turn out to be not good people. I don't know, whatever. But let's just hope for the best. Let's pray and hope for the best. That even though there's cures for these things, that there are people that are relentless and still finding a way to get the rest of us a cure. Kind of like what I talked about last night with the Alzheimer's and etanercept and Imbryl, which is technically for rheumatoid arthritis patients, but a person with Alzheimer's could be cured from it. So talked about that last night. Won't go into it again. House lawmakers officially asked Facebook to put Libra cryptocurrency project on hold. They say these vulnerabilities could be exploited and obscured by bad actors. Well, they of all people should know, right? Well, that's a good point, Shirley. Child's pose. Oh, that's such a good point. I find that really interesting. All right, House Democrats. This is interesting. House Democrats are requesting Facebook halt development of its proposed cryptocurrency project Libra, as well as its digital wallet Calibra, until Congress and regulators have time to investigate the possible risk it poses to the global financial system, of course. Representative Angry Maxine Waters, the chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee, hinted at a move like this last month, shortly after the project was announced. Waters' letter today, sent to Facebook's CEO and cardboard cutout Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg, his handler, and Calibra CEO David Marcus, formalizes that request from a few weeks ago. Aside from Waters, the letter is signed by the House Finances Subcommittee leaders. If products and services like these are left improperly regulated and without sufficient oversight, they could pose systemic risks that endanger the U.S. and global financial stability, Waters writes. These vulnerabilities could be exploited and obscured by bad actors, as she would know, as other cryptocurrencies, exchanges, and wallets have been in the past. So this is curious. Obviously, there's some kind of disconnect with Facebook and the Democrats on this. I'm not sure why. They're already trying the social credit score. Go to My Life and get your information off of there, as well as everywhere else that you can. But yeah, not sure what I think. Maybe you guys can tell me what you think. I'm not sure, because I know even people like Elizabeth Warren are trying to say we should break up these monopolies, which confuses me a little bit, because I'm just not sure where they're going with it. So, and to some robot news, guys. I mean, I wanted to get some robot news in there because we never ever don't do robot news. If you are a lonely old person, they're seeking volunteers for your robot friends that we talked about last night. Robotics company seeking volunteer seniors to test new proactive social companion. All right, let's scroll down. Oh, Broward County. Wonderful. I don't know if I need to read anything else. They call her LEQ. That's great, because she's probably got some quantum computing going on there. Because if you are somebody who watches all my videos, or even any of them, I talk about quantum computing in the letter Q. Doesn't mean that good people aren't behind Q. That's where people get me wrong. Q it came from a quantum computer. So, Broward County-based organization announced a partnership with a robotics company and is seeking local seniors, as Florida, come on guys, as volunteers to pair with a proactive social companion or a robot for older adults called LEQ. Why has it got to be a female? As its recent Aging in South Florida symposium, South Florida Institute on Aging announced a partnership with LEQ creator Intuition Robotics, backed by investors including Toyota Research Institute, AI Ventures, Samsung Next, and iRobot. It all sounds legit. It all sounds super legit. I talked about this quite a bit last night, but hey, what I want to mention one more time, guys, is I've got only 2 spots left on this satellite. $10 a spot, and you could get a spot on the main drawing for a half ounce of gold. $10 a spot, guys. I only need 2 people to fill that, and we can draw right here, right now. Right here, right now, right here, right now. You can do that yourself. Okay, I'm not done, so maybe when I'm done. All right, so in another robotics news, the real reason that Chucky is a robot now, because Chucky is a robot, and if you don't remember from the original, Chucky was a serial killer that possessed a doll and killed a lot of people, and now he's a smart toy who finds autonomy because I want to be a real boy, and then kills a bunch of people, and because they wanted to get people away from the satanic panic of the 80s and 90s, I guess, and now with technology, that's where the fear is, so they've got to keep it scary. And that's how they'll keep it scary, I guess. Funny enough, this wasn't starting pitch. When the doll's blood became mixed with his owner, Andy's, his owner's name is Andy, like Toy Story. Ugh, good God. Chucky became a scary version of Andy's ID. Oh, his id, not his ID, like the id and the ego. Killing everyone who pissed him off. The whole serial killer possesses the doll. That's the original story. I thought. So they're just going into the 80s one, where they said there was a real reason that it was going to be Ronald Reagan, televangelism, the religious scare. Yes, we know. That's when a lot of satanic stuff was going on. Where's the real reason? I guess they don't give us a real reason. Okay, I guess because they don't believe Satan's a problem anymore. Don't worry, it's just technology that you need to be scared of. Okay, Milspec, I'll give you a spot. Just pay it next week. And please email me and remind me at ladyliberty@countermail.com so that I can keep a note of that. I mean, I can keep a note myself, but I wouldn't mind having your email if that's all right to get a hold of you. I know $10 isn't a lot, but I still like to keep track. It's called organization. And I like to try to keep it. I'm putting you on number 4 unless you really want number 8. Then you just got to tell me that. Okay, so we only have one spot left, guys. One spot. Okay, so that was the end of everything I was going to cover. I wanted to talk just for a second on my upcoming research. There is a wonderful guy by the name of, goes by James True, I think, on Twitter. And oh, yeah, I don't think you need the HTTP, but that maybe, who cares? Actually, maybe you do. I don't know. It's just ladyliberty@countermail.com. Anyway, James did this article on Louise Bourgeois, and I am going to do a video. He is unable to collaborate because he's very busy. He writes articles and books, which is fine. I knew he had done a great article on it, and I went to that, and it is amazing. And it's only just a small piece of the puzzle with what I'm doing on research with her. Couldn't make some connections with her and Billie Eilish. I've got a little bit of stuff I'll mention on Miley Cyrus.
Mom, we're going to the park.
Okay. And anyway, creepy stuff. And but it's worth going over. It needs to be talked about, just like some of this other stuff. But, you know, there's something really wrong with this scenario and who's behind it. And it's not easy to find. It's not easy to find who's behind some of this stuff. It's easy to say, oh, it's monarch mind control. It's easy to say, oh, it's MK Ultra. It's easy to say it's a satanic ritual. It's easy to say that, you know, them, the elite, they, Hillary Clinton. But there are people that we don't know about that are behind a lot of this. And she's dead. Don't worry. This ghoul of a person is dead. But yes, you can use PayPal. It's ladyliberty@countermail.com on my PayPal. So it's the same thing as my email. That you just do ladyliberty@countermail.com for the PayPal spot, for a PayPal to get a spot for $10. And then we can draw. I do all my drawings live so that everybody knows, everybody sees who wins. But anyway, this ghoulish, horrific woman, I'm going to do a whole video on it. This is a good article if you want to read it yourself already, because it's going to connect what I'm going to talk about. But was going to change, did a video called The Spider and the Fly. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to change that a little. Not change it. It's going to speak new life into it. And yeah, was she dead when the photo was, God, I don't know. She was a ghoul, man. She's a creepy woman, and a lot wrong with her. She had daddy problems and mommy problems, and it sounds like her dad was definitely probably sexually abusive, but if not, he just was so he humiliated her sexually, even if he didn't sexually touch her. And you know, she's lots of spider art, but even worse, guys, it's sick. But I'll make a video. All right. Ooh, Insane Cookie Monster. Gotcha. All right, we're full. Yay! I love Insane Cookie Monster's name. Insane. I'm just writing you Insane Cookie. All right, Monster. Cool. We're going to draw that. So there's that. I'm going to save it. Save. Oops, I don't want that. Where am I? Oh, there it is. All the people on there. So moving on to much more fun stuff. I'm going to have more of you guys. I'm going to have more satellites because you can see there's 10 spots for $100 spots that are empty. So I'm going to do satellites until either they're all full or people start coming in and filling the $100 spots. And somebody will. I actually know somebody who's probably going to take one tonight or tomorrow, but they're doing an auction or something first, whatever. I mean, it's good to watch your money, right? Or your dollars. So here we are. Got Governor, Red Pill, my dad. That's my pops. Milspec, Faith, Patricia, Brenda, Insane Cookie Monster, Matt, and Red Pill. And I will do another satellite. As soon as this one's over, I will repost a new satellite with 0 people on it. So if you're interested, you don't have to be live to do this, guys. You just comment, right? Say, I want that spot or whatever. Send me the $10 or whatever on my PayPal or my Cash App. If you don't comment, but you send the money and I don't know who you are because your name doesn't match up with YouTube, it's going to be really confusing. Thank you for the email. Thank you. It's going to be really confusing if you have a name on your PayPal that doesn't match anything on the YouTube. So if you don't email me or tell me who you are or comment and I don't know you and you send me $10, I'm going to put your name that comes on the $10. I'm not going to put your YouTube name, and I'm not going to even know who you are. Although I think PayPal probably requires an email, so hope to God. Anyway, all right, we're going to draw. Woo! Woo! All right. So I'll refresh this because I always like to refresh and make sure that everybody sees a fresh screen. And we're doing on 10, so drum roll, please. Number 7. Who are you? Brenda. Oh, she is going to like that. Brenda, you're not here right now. You were, though. You were here at like 6:30. Good job. Are you still here? Maybe you are still here. You're just not talking. Woo, Brenda. So, Brenda, tell me. Yeah, I would. Well, if you're going to give yourself insane, I wasn't even imagining you. I was also not thinking that governor was a governor, and that NPC is really an NPC. So, there's that. Okay, please pay up if you haven't paid, because just because you didn't win doesn't mean you don't pay. Sorry. So, yay, Brenda. Woo! What number do you want? Let me know. I'm going to put you on it. You'll be the very first spot on the main drawing for a ½ ounce of gold. Maybe, Brenda, this will be the answer to your prayers. Who knows, right? Could be. I don't know. I'm not God. He's got to be the one to answer. But we asked that he would answer you clearly. And maybe, I don't know if that's a clear answer or not, but not yet, maybe. All right, guys. So I will throw this camera on myself for a second so you can see my happy face. And I want to say thank you for being here. Have a wonderful 4th of July. Piss off your neighbor or get along with your neighbor, but remember, love your neighbor. So try not to piss them off too much. And I got lots of sparklers for my kids. It's not dark yet, but we're going to go out and do some sparklers tonight. And it's going to be fun. Got my hat to represent. And my new house is just the bomb. It's settling in so well. It just feels right. It's a great neighborhood. Kids, lots of kids in the neighborhood, park right across the street, splash pad, pool, all that stuff. So glory to God. I'm so grateful. I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm grateful for all of this. Please pray for me if you can think of it. It's not like you got to put me on your nightly prayer or anything, but if you can think of it on this next project, it's going to be just deep and dark, and I've already been working on it. And I can, I pray the protection of God, and I think I've done well, but it always hits me hard when it really starts to come together, and the day I make it, and especially the day I put it up. So it's going to be probably a week or 2. I'm going to say 2 weeks to be safe. So God bless. If you hate your neighbor, I'm sorry. But yep, we're going to work together. We're a team. We're pulling the same direction, guys. Even when we have it we have inside bickering sometimes, it's infighting a little bit, but we don't all agree on the same stuff. And that's why we talk about it. And what I saw today, which was so good, somebody said, thanks for bringing me new information that could help me think outside of the box. If it's not right information for you, then, don't go with it. But, I pray for discernment. That's why we pray for wisdom, discernment. And I'm glad that your neighbor's in Hawaii. So set off those fireworks as loud as you want. I got to keep it quiet with just some sparklers. And low level stuff, but it's all right, guys. And I appreciate you. And if you don't believe me, I do. I appreciate you so much. Like tons, like tons. It's just, I can't describe it. I appreciate you even more than I appreciate the President of the United States. And if you don't believe me, pray discernment because it's true. Okay, God bless. Happy 4th of July. Stay independent, stay free, and have a wonderful night, guys. Peace out.